Republicans are now allowed to vote, and the 19th Amendment says that women are now allowed to vote.
Do you guys think that there should be prayer in public schools?
No, I do not think that there should be prayer in public schools. I think that would cause too much controversy if we give time for children to pray, because some people are Puritans and the parents could get very sad that their student doesn't practice any religion and has a chance to, because it might make them feel uncomfortable. And if the parent is so concerned that their kid isn't getting to practice religion in their school, they should send their kid to a private school.
I respectfully disagree with my colleague Shreya. I think there should be prayer in public schools because some kids have their religion that they pray to gods, but also the kids who don't have that religion can just sit out and have some quiet time, like and not have to pray. I respectfully agree and disagree with my colleague. I think there should be prayer in public schools, but I don't think there should be just one prayer. I think it should be remember Sabbath. You can either read prayer or do anything silent.
I agree with my colleague Spencer. I think schools should have prayer in public schools, but they should actually have a moment of silence to pray.
Do you think there are times when a school principal can limit your freedom of expression?
Yes, there are times, because it's like a social contract. You're giving up some of your freedom to get this education, and it's the principal's rule, so you must give up some of your freedoms to get this education. So yes, the principal can limit your freedom.
Anyone else have any thoughts on that?
Yes, I respectfully agree with my colleague Shreya. I think the principal does have the right to limit your freedom of expression because you're on her private property, so you have to listen to her rules, and also you're in school, so you have nothing to do but learn.
Do you think the government should limit or regulate the internet?
I think the government should regulate the internet because cyberbullying is a problem, and if the government regulated the internet, cyberbullying wouldn't be much of a problem because they can turn off the sites and they can report them.
I agree with my colleague, because if the government starts to regulate the internet, there will be less fraud. You buy so much things on different websites nowadays that all of your personal information is on the websites. If the government regulates the internet, then there will be less fraud and you won't lose much of your money. But I think that cyberbullying and all those sites, they should be controlled by the parents and what your kids see.
I respectfully agree with both of my colleagues. I think the government should regulate the internet because cyberbullying is a habit for big kids on the site because they like to post things that are not true and inappropriate about the little kids, and it can make the little kid feel embarrassed and ashamed, and he might never want to see anyone again if they notice the site. And also there is inappropriate websites that some kid could accidentally see, and that could affect his future.
I agree with all my colleagues because cyberbullying is a big problem. It sometimes hurts kids' feelings, and
Good.
Thank
Do you think that schools should have the right to require students to wear uniforms? And is requiring a student to wear a uniform a violation of their freedom of expression?
well, I think it is, and I think it's not violating students' freedom because if you're going to a private school, your parents agree for the rules for you to wear a uniform.
Yeah, I do agree, and it's not like they're taking away all of your freedom of expression by what clothes you wear. You can also wear the clothes you'd like outside and other places.
I respectfully disagree with both of my colleagues. I think they shouldn't have to wear uniforms in schools because it could violate someone's, a bit of their freedom of expression, so everyone should just be able to wear the clothes they want to wear. I think you should be able to wear uniforms at private schools because some shirts say bad words, and
You know, is it constitutional for someone to put a sign in their own yard, so their own property, that says all politicians are crooks?
Yes, I think it is constitutional for someone to place a sign in their own property saying all politicians are crooked, because it's their private property and they can do whatever they want to. But they can't place a sign in anyone else's private property without their permission.
Yes, I do agree with my colleague Spencer. It is your property, unless you're pointing it directly at one person, and you have no reason to directly point it at one person.
I agree with both my colleagues. It's your own private property, so you can put a sign on any part of your property.
Want to grab one more?
Yeah. Is it constitutional for someone else to stage a protest on your property?
It is not constitutional because you have the right to your property, and you bought it, so they can't come on your property unless if they ask you permission and you grant it.
I agree with my colleague Shreya, because you can't protest on someone else's property because it's their private property. You can ask like your neighbor, or you can protest on your lawn, but protest about other people.
I respectfully agree with both my colleagues Shreya and Justin.
I think they shouldn't I think it's unconstitutional for people to stage a protest on the front lawn without your permission, because it's your private property, and so they would have to ask you if they can protest on your lawn, but you probably say no. But if you say yes, they're going to protest on your lawn.
I agree with all my colleagues. It is on your own private property, so they could just go ask like a friend or their neighbors to do it on their property if they say yes or no. If they say no, they have to ask another person.
Well, way to go. Perfect. We're going to count to 3 and take a deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Now all the tension's gone. You guys were awesome. Thank you very much. And so we're going to start with our feedback with Judge Campbell.
I thought you all had posed excellent solutions to different things, especially with that last question. Well, it was, you knew the information, you each had a slightly different one. You could ask somebody's neighbor, you could go ahead and grant permission, and then people could go on your lawn, and I think you did a really nice job with that. Starting off, Tassi, I love the fact that you picked Teddy Roosevelt, because most people think about him about founding the national parks, and they forget that he won a Nobel Prize for ending the 1905 war between Russia and Japan. And I love, Justin, that you picked, especially a year like this, where we're in the bicentennial for the War of 1812, because it ended until like 1815. But yes, so that you picked Francis Scott Key. That's one I've never heard before, and I thought that was really, really wonderful. I like too how all of you supported each other with the definitions of the amendments in the presentation. Each of you had a part that you had down really well. And I particularly like the classroom example in your presentation of how things could be made so that you weren't violating one person's rights. And I believe you even said during one of your questions, Shreya, that it's like a social contract with your principal. And I thought that was a very enlightened way to look at it. And I think, Spencer, too, you raised not only the cyberbullying, as did your other colleagues, but you also pointed out that there are some websites that are not appropriate, really, to be out there for just about anything. So, all in all, I thought it was an excellent job.
I thought each of you had a very good understanding of the amendments, probably more so than the 3 of us do, which is excellent. I thought that you guys worked together well as a unit, and I thought that each of you handled the subject matter nicely. The thing I liked the most about what you said was when Judge Nancy asked you a tough question about how the amendments, or what was going to be done to figure out the rights for women and African Americans, you right away started banging out amendment, 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 and got those things right, which I don't think I could do, so that was excellent. Shreya, I liked kind of what Judge Nancy said. I liked when there were situations which were clearly confrontational, which were things like the uniforms, like prayer in school, that you addressed it from a give and take perspective, which is wonderful. You didn't kind of say, well, it's this side of the line or this side of the line. You said, hey, if you're going to go to a school and a teacher wants to give you an education, these are the things you have to do, and I thought that was really good. Your eye contact was wonderful. Justin, I thought you did a really nice job. You everyone touched on it, but you focused particularly on the moment of silence, which I thought was a very interesting give and take perspective, because again, you didn't force it and say, no, you can't do it, or yes, it has to be done. You kind of said, well, it can be done in a way that lets everybody do their thing, which is why we're here. The whole reason we're here is because everyone's trying to get to their stuff that's important, and that way the moment of silence would let everyone choose. Spencer, I thought you had a good attitude about things as well. I thought that when you addressed your position on the prayers as well as the uniforms, you also didn't just take a hardcore position. You said, this is what I think, this is why I'm doing it, and I thought all of you displayed a wonderful acumen for addressing us. I thought each of you had eye contact, and I thought as a group you did terrific.
I respectfully agree with my colleagues. You guys were, you were awesome, and you worked really, really, really well together. I could tell that. I looked at the presentation, and I haven't heard the example of the buggies very often with the Amish, but I thought that was a good way where you all kind of worked together on that and kind of followed up with each other. And it helps us as you're doing the presentation to kind of get you all in the feel of that, so I thought it was really good. A lot of really great examples you guys gave out, not just, you know, one or two, but a lot of different things. So it helps us to better understand and see how you can apply the Constitution to the current days and also to the previous, in the past. I will tell you, as a politician, I don't want to put a sign that says all politicians are crooks, but you're right. I completely agree with you. You have the right to do that. On your property, you have the right to do that. So I appreciate that, and I thank you. She read that. Shreya?
Yeah.
To how you said, well, if you don't direct it to one person. And so I appreciate that, but sometime we have more time, I'll tell you a story about someone who did that. And you know what, you have the right to do it. It's their property. And so I thought that was very interesting that you guys talked about that. Because sometimes, especially if a politician is on one of the judges, I have folks kind of nervous that I better not say they can do that because he's sitting right there. But no, you guys are right, and I think you did a good job of that. But all of you were very strong in your presentations. You looked us in the eyes. I think almost all of you almost answered all the questions. I mean, it was really pretty impressive that almost every one of them, you almost all chimed in on something. And that shows that you have studied the whole entire unit, not just picking one question. And that means a lot to us. That means you put, there was a rumor, I don't know if you heard the rumor outside too, there was a rumor that you guys started working on this last night. Did you start working last night for the first time? No? No? Of course not. We're kidding with you. You guys have clearly put a lot of time and effort, and I appreciate that. It means a lot to all of us. I'm sure it means a lot to your teachers and to the administrators and to your parents that you took it seriously, because this is really important stuff. It really is. You guys know the Constitution better than most people, and that's important, and it means a lot. So because you did such a great job, I think we should thank Ms. Harvey for everything she's done. And also, I have 4 children. 3 have done what you have just done, and they got encouragement through at home because of with research and other things. I know some of your family members were able to come here today. Let's thank them for being here to support you. Thank you very much. It means a lot to them to have you here. We have a great community in Howard County, and you guys are going to make it even stronger as you get older and take over this country and this county and this